Appropriate for you and your body tonight. You can let the eyes close or the gaze soften. Just taking a few moments to become present. Being aware of the places which your body makes contact with the earth. Being aware of the weight of the sensations in your body and those points of contact. Seeing if we can be aware of our spines. And almost as a tree or a plant draws energy up through its roots, let's begin to draw some energy up, starting from our hips, from our sits bones, going up the spine, up through the crown of the head. And as we feel that energy travel upward, let's sit just a little taller. Shrugging the shoulders up to our ears and relaxing them down. Becoming aware of our breath. Noticing first the depth of our breath. Seeing if we can begin to deepen that breath, breathing in just a little more deeply with each inhalation. Feeling if that expanse is coming from our bellies, our chests. Seeing if we can round that breath a little bit more, feeling both the belly and the chest expand, as well as the side body and the back, almost as if we are a cylinder. Each breath expanding a little more fully. And as you exhale, just relaxing, letting the air exit without any effort. Deep inhalations. Long, slow, effortless exhalations. Seeing if we can feel our weight settle and sink down into the earth just a little bit more on the exhalations. And as you inhale, feeling the crown of your head lift and your body expand. Begin to set your intention for your practice this evening. What you're hoping to achieve from your yoga practice, either in your body, your mind, your behavior. Go ahead and make a positive statement as if you've already achieved this goal. I am flexible. I am calm. I am productive. I am strong. Whatever that intention is, repeat it to yourself 3 times now. Slowly blink the eyes back open. Let's begin inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead. Shoulders draw down into their sockets. Relax one hand down to the mat and reach the other arm overhead. Gently opening through the side body. Inhaling it back up. Other hand comes down to the side, slowly reaching over, opening through that side body. Once again, inhaling up, exhaling over, first side. Keeping that shoulder drawn back and open. And just holding here for a few breaths. Allowing yourself to relax into it, feel the stretch a little more deeply. Inhaling it back up. Over to the other side. Pausing and breathing into it. Inhale up. Last time. Over. As we go over, let's inhale, expand through that side body, pressing down into that grounding arm. Might even begin to relax that top arm, let it rest on the head, keeping that shoulder back, that elbow open. If you want to go a little deeper, you can even bend through that bottom arm, take it down even lower, stopping where you feel the point that you're getting a nice deep stretch. Knowing that you can always come out a little if your body needs it. Inhaling it back up, doing the other side. Pressing firmly into that grounding arm, expanding through the side body. Relaxing that arm down if it feels better. Bending through that bottom arm if you want to go a little deeper. Or staying high if that feels better for your body. Inhaling back up. Relaxing both arms down, gently rolling through the shoulder, releasing any tension that may have built up. Taking the hands in front of you and coming up to a standing position at the front of your mat. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Fingertips lift, shoulders draw back and down, gaze lifts to fingertips. Gently draw those thumbs back just a little bit more, coming into your extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold, hands come down to meet the mat. Knees bend as needed, really sinking that chest down, relaxing those shoulders. As you inhale, take hands to shins or thighs, half lift. Draw shoulders back and down, press into those thighs or into those legs as you reach the crown of your head away, creating some space within the spine. On the next exhale, hands come down to the mat. Knees can bend as needed, can remain straight, or can even gently bend one and then the other, slowly opening up those hamstrings. On the next inhale, step it back with the right leg coming into a lunge. Allowing yourself a moment for your body to begin to stretch and open here in this simple lunge before we try to do anything further. No force, just awareness. Slowly lowering that back knee down, untucking the toes, coming into a low lunge. Trying to relax those hips just a little bit more. And then stepping that front leg back to meet the right, coming into first a low plank, core engaged, nice long flat back. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bend through the elbows, lower all the way down onto the belly. Taking hands under shoulders, coming into our cobra. Let's inhale, lift the chest off the ground, lift the crown of the head up high. Draw those shoulders back and down, pull those elbows in towards the ribs. Engaging those shoulders, engaging that back, pressing palms into the earth to engage a little bit more, or relaxing a little lower to relieve some of the strain. We're going to hold here for a few breaths. Knowing you can come down at any point in time if your body feels the urge to do so. On the next inhale, pressing into the palms, lifting up into your low plank and pushing those hips back, coming into a child's pose. Sending your hips back as close to your heels as you can. Arms continue to reach forward. Or they can reach down towards the toes as the forehead comes down to rest on the ground. Shoulders and chest relax forward and down towards the ground. Using as little effort as you possibly can to hold yourself in this position. Allowing yourself to become aware of your spine, of your shoulders, of your back. Noticing any points at which you're holding tension without without trying to force past it, without trying to avoid it, merely experiencing here. If your arms are back towards the heels, walk them back towards the top of the mat, arms extending upward. Shifting forward through your tabletop, let's step that right leg forward, coming into our low lunge. Holding here for just a breath or two. Tucking that back toe, lifting the knee up, holding in our lunge. Just being aware of the sensations, not trying to force past them, not trying to avoid them. Just noticing those points of tension. And slowly stepping, walking, or sliding that foot forward, coming back into our forward fold. Going to inhale, half lift, reach the crown of the head forward as you push your hips back. Hands are braced on the legs. Exhale, forward fold, keeping those knees as straight as you can get them while taking the hands to the floor. And then grabbing opposite elbows, gently rocking side to side in a ragdoll. You can bend from one knee to the other, or bend through both knees slightly. Or see if you can keep the legs straight. Finding the variation that works best for you and your body. And releasing those arms, letting everything hang and dangle as effortless as you can. Bend through the knee just slightly as you slowly begin to roll up, letting the head and shoulders hang forward, being the last things to come up. As you lift your head and shoulders up, draw those shoulders up towards the ears, pull them back, take a deep breath in, and relax your arms down, coming into mountain pose. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead into upward salute, gaze up to the fingertips. Draw those thumbs back slightly into a small back bend here. Upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Step it back with the left leg coming into a lunge. Holding here for just a moment. Lowering that left knee down, coming into a low lunge. And then taking just a very gentle twist here. We're going to walk that left hand in a little closer to that right foot so that our shoulder is stacked over our wrist. I want to take that right hand to right knee. Draw that right shoulder back. If you're feeling comfortable here, you can even extend that right arm up. Seeing if we can stack one shoulder over the other. Reach those fingertips high. Press down into that grounding palm. Gaze up towards those top fingertips if you can do so steadily. One more deep breath. Exhaling, releasing the hands back down to the mat. We're slowly going to walk our hands back, extending this front leg, letting the toes gently and slowly begin to lift up. Walk the hands forward towards the front of the mat, bending through that front knee. And then walking them back again. Maybe an extra step back this time, letting the toes come up a little higher. Walking the hands forward. Slowly working forward and backwards as works for your body. We want to keep our hips over that back knee, not going past it. That'll allow us to get a nice deep stretch through that front leg. As we bring our hips back over that back knee, we're going to pause here. Inhale, press your palms into the earth, lift your spine high. As you exhale, reach your heart and your nose slightly forward towards the front of your mat. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, take your chest lower towards that front leg, keeping those hips elevated over that back knee. Holding here for a few breaths. Inhaling, lifting up, walking the hands forward, bending that front knee once again. Tucking those back toes. And we're going to step that front leg back to meet the back, coming into a low plank. This time we're going to push our hips back, coming into a child's pose with toes tucked. Stretching through the bottoms of the feet just a little bit here. We can lower down to forearms or keep those elbows raised. Either way, trying to send those hips way back. Really stretching into the bottoms of the feet. On the next inhale, coming through our low plank again, lowering down onto the belly. Taking the elbows underneath the shoulders. Forearms parallel to one another. Hands pressing down into the earth, coming into a Sphinx pose. Long, straight spines. As you inhale, lift the crown of your head a little higher. Draw those elbows back towards your hips. Engaging the muscles without actually moving. Wanting to feel a nice deep stretch through the lower back here. One more deep breath. As you exhale, relax that torso down. Walk the hands underneath the shoulders once again. Slowly push up into your low plank. Send those hips back slightly. If you want a dolphin pose, you can take that here. Or to go into that full downward dog, lift the knees and send those hips back. Gently pedaling through one heel and then the other. Walking that downward dog just a little bit. And to draw those elbows towards one another, rotating those upper arm bones, draw your shoulders into their sockets. Take a deep breath, send those hips a little higher. And as you exhale, reach your heart back for your thighs. You can continue to pedal or find some stillness, whether the knees remain bent or straightened, the heels remain lifted or down. It's not about how the dog looks, it's about how it feels. You want to find some freedom and some rest, as well as a nice deep stretch. Take your gaze between your hands. We're going to slowly make our way forward with that left leg, however it needs to come there, coming into our lunge once again. Holding and breathing. Noticing whether that hip is starting to open up a little bit more than before. And if it's not yet, that's okay. Lower that back knee down, coming into our low lunge. Breathing deeply. Walk your right hand in a little closer to that left foot. We're going to go into that twist again. Starting out by just taking that left hand to the top of the left knee. Beginning to open through the shoulders, drawing that top shoulder, that left shoulder up and open a little bit more. Pressing down into that grounding palm. We can go a little deeper by raising that left arm up. Reaching those fingertips up high. Gaze can follow and look up towards the ceiling. Breathing deeply. If you feel unsteady at any time, take your gaze back down to the ground or return that hand down to that leg again. Release that hand back down to the ground if it's not there already. Readjust the stance of the hands. Tuck those back toes and make your way back into your forward fold. Feet parallel to one another. Going to inhale, half lift, palms come to shins or thighs. Reach that crown of the head as far away from you as you can. Send those hips back a little farther. Draw those shoulder blades towards one another. One more deep breath here. And on the exhale, forward fold, grabbing opposite elbows. Gently swaying side to side. Seeing if you can relax through the hips just a little bit more. Relax the head, let it hang low, let it swing between the arms. Gently swaying side to side in your ragdoll. Releasing those elbows, taking the choice of either rolling up or challenging yourself by bending through the knees, sitting the hips back, engaging the core. You can take hands to the tops of the thighs, or sweep the arms up, coming into your chair pose. Breathing deeply. Taking a few breaths here. If you want to challenge yourself more on the next exhale, taking those hips a little lower. Gaze can raise up past the fingertips if you're feeling steady, or go to the ground if you're feeling a little shaky. One more deep breath. On the next inhalation, raise those fingertips up, coming up into our upward salute. Palms pressed together, exhale, hands to heart. And release those hands down into mountain pose. Wiggling the fingers, bending elbows, shaking out shoulders. Making sure our upper body is feeling nice and awake. Moving through hips, knees, and ankles. Making sure that lower body is nice and awake. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, fingertips lift, shoulders draw back and down. Draw those thumbs back, take those gaze up past the fingertips into upward salute. Holding here for a breath or two. And if you want to go a little deeper, taking this opportunity to draw the thumbs back a little bit farther. 2 more breaths here. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step it back with the right leg coming into a lunge. Pausing here for just a moment. Going to make our way into a high lunge. Really beginning to engage that core, draw that belly button in. We can start off nice and easy by taking the hands to the top of the knee, keeping that back knee lifted. Beginning to tuck that tailbone, draw that belly in a little bit more. You can take the arms up overhead, one arm or both arms. Back heel lifted if we can. Grounded if we can't. Going to hold for 4 more breaths. On the next exhale, taking the hands down to the earth once again. Lowering that back knee down. Taking the other knee back to meet it. And then coming into a puppy pose. So we want to keep those hips nice and high. Lowering down to elbows. Seeing if we can lower the chest down a little lower. Maybe even taking forehead to floor. This can be a very intense shoulder opener, so if you need to come up, please do so. If your shoulders are nice and open and you need to walk the hands a little farther away, you can go a little deeper that way. Slowly pressing into the palms, coming up to elbows, walking the hands in a step or two. We're going to tuck those toes. And we're going to step the right knee forward. Back toes are still tucked. Can you guys hear me okay? You can, okay. Just making sure. Lift that back knee. Either walking the hands up or keeping that core engaged. And sweeping the arms up into the high lunge. Tuck that tailbone. Draw that belly in some more. Draw those shoulders down. Gaze can lift up past the fingertips if you're feeling nice and steady. Or go down to the floor if you're feeling a little unsteady. Either way, see if you can lower your hips a little bit lower. Breathing deeply. 3 more breaths here. And on the next exhale, returning the hands to the ground. Sliding, stepping, walking. However you want to get it there, bringing that left foot forward to meet the right. Coming back into a forward fold. Grabbing opposite elbows. Gently swaying side to side. Adding a little knee bend as feels appropriate for you and your body. And then taking your choice again of either a chair pose, hands come to the ground, knees bend, hips go back, sweeping the arms up, or just rolling straight up. Keeping that core engaged, that back long and flat. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sit those hips back a little bit more. Gaze up past those fingertips if you're feeling steady. Inhaling all the way up, extended mountain. Palms pressed together, exhale, hands to heart. Relax those hands down into mountain pose. Inhale, arms extend up overhead, upward salute. Gaze up past the fingertips, draw those thumbs back a little bit. If you want a deeper back bend, draw those thumbs back a little bit more. Inhaling, upward salute, reach those fingers high. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold, hands to the mat. Step it back with the left leg on the next inhale. Holding in your high lunge here. And then gently lower that back knee down. We're going to start to open the hips a little bit more. Depending on you, your body, your hips, you might want to keep it here. You might want to walk that foot to the outside of the hands. You might want to open that knee a little bit more. If you've had enough, stay here. If you want to come a little lower, down onto the forearms, you can. Some people prefer to rock. Some people prefer to find stillness. Listen to your body. Experiment as you choose. Here in your lizard pose. Slowly coming back up. Bringing that leg back in. Back into a low lunge. Going to tuck those back toes. Lift that knee, step it back into a plank or low plank, your choice. Reach the crown of the head forward. Lower halfway or all the way. Inhale up to upward dog, cobra, or you could even relax it all the way down into an alligator if you prefer. Holding in your variation, just a few more breaths. Listening to your body for how much or how little work it wants you to do. And then lowering all the way down if you're still up, taking your alligator for just a moment. Relaxing your head down to your forearms. Taking a moment to listen to your breath. Has it become fast? Has it become shallow? Taking a moment just to deepen your breath, to slow your exhales. Slowly coming back up, hands under shoulders. Lifting up to your low plank, pushing it back into a child's pose. Either staying here to come into a dolphin or a puppy pose, or tucking those toes to lift up into your downward dog. Taking just a few more breaths here in downward dog. And then stepping, walking, sliding, bringing that left foot forward once again. Lowering that back knee down, untucking those toes. Going to walk the hands slowly back and forward. Take them back a little farther, letting the toes gently rise up and taking it forward. Continuing this at your own speed, taking the hands a little farther back, letting the toes come a little higher. Remembering that as we go back, we want to keep our hips over that back knee. And the next time we go back, let's hold here. Front leg extended, hips over back knee. Let's inhale to press into the palms, lift the spine. As you exhale, reach your nose and your heart forward first, and then let them come down towards the thigh. Deep stretch through the leg. Holding here, breathing deeply. Just a few more breaths, coming out at any time if you need. On the next inhale, pressing into the palms, lifting slowly. Bending through the knee as you walk your hands forward. And then taking both hands to the inside of that foot as you walk that left foot out to the edge of the mat. We can stay here. Or slowly begin to turn that knee outward. Breathing deeply. If you find that you want to go a little bit lower, you can bend through the elbows or come down to forearms. Remembering that it's all about your journey, about your experience, not about how the pose looks, not about how far you go. If at any time you notice your breath starting to quicken or become more shallow, letting your focus return to it. Letting your inhales become a little deeper. Your exhales become a little longer. the next inhale, walking those hands back in, coming back up, bringing that knee back in, walking the leg back between the hands, centering up once again, tucking those back toes, lifting that knee, and either sliding, stepping, hopping, or walking that foot back between the hands, coming back into our forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come down to the mat. Bending through the knees as needed. We're going to go into a gorilla pose, taking whatever variation works best for you. We can either lift the toes, slide the hand underneath so that the palm is towards the sole of the foot. Do this with each hand and gently massaging the hand as we step side to side, foot by foot. If you don't want your hands under your legs, you can simply wrap the hands behind the ankles, the calves, or the thighs. Breathing deeply. And with each exhale, drawing your palms towards you, pulling yourself in a little deeper into the stretch. Reaching those elbows out to the side. If your hands are beneath your feet, letting your feet continue to gently pedal and massage the hands. If your hands are still under your feet, lifting one foot at a time, returning the hands one at a time to the ground. If you're holding your legs, slowly releasing. Let's relax that upper body, letting the head hang low, letting the shoulders relax as much as possible. Gentle bend through the knee as we slowly roll up, just like a garage door. Head and shoulders still heavy and relaxing forward until the last second. And as we come up, let's take a deep breath in, draw those shoulders up, back, and release them down with a sigh. Palms press forward, reach those fingers out long. Reach those hands down towards the ground, encouraging those shoulders to relax downward. Standing here in our mountain pose for just a few breaths. Once again, becoming aware of those points of contact between our bodies and the earth. Imagining again that you can draw that energy up from the earth, up through the spine and up the crown of the head. As you inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, feeling that energy travel upwards, all the way up through the fingertips. Draw those shoulders back and down into their sockets. Take a deep breath in as your gaze goes up past the fingertips. Feeling that energy continuing to travel upward, almost making you grow a couple inches taller. Begin to draw those thumbs back, opening through the spine and a little mini back bend here. Gaze up past those fingertips if you're steady. Take those thumbs back a little bit farther if you feel like you want a deeper back bend. Inhaling up to reach straight up. Exhaling, forward fold. Stepping it back with the right leg. We're going to rotate that back foot so it's more or less parallel to the back of the mat. We're going to make our way up into our warrior two. You can either step the hands to come up, or got some pros in the house tonight, windmill the arms up. Wonderful. Keep that tailbone tucked, that core engaged. Reach those fingertips out as you draw your shoulder blades back towards one another. Gaze over those front fingertips. If you're feeling steady here, see if you can lower those hips a little bit lower, keeping that knee over that front ankle. We're going to try to challenge ourselves a little bit here. We're going to hold for 10 breaths. If you need to pulse in and out, feel free to pulse in and out at any time. 4 more breaths. Last breath. And as we exhale, extend that front leg. Gently reaching forward and back. Getting ready to make our way into a triangle pose. And as we reach forward, keep those fingertips reaching forward, bringing the hand to fall down on the thigh, the shin, the ankle, or even the floor, if that feels best for your body. Wonderful, yes, using any props that you need for your body for this pose. Gaze can go up past those fingertips, looking towards the ceiling, or down to the ground to help ground you. Continuing to try to draw this top hip, this back hip, back in line with the rest of the body. One more deep breath. On the exhale, slowly bend through that front knee, taking both hands to the inside of the foot, rotating that back heel up. Coming into our lizard one more time, lowering that back knee down. We can stay here. Knee can gently open to the side. We can lower down, either bending elbows or taking the forearms down to the ground. Breathing deeply here. Slowly raising back up, drawing that knee in, walking one hand to the other side of the leg, stepping that foot back to meet the other to come back into our child's pose, pressing our hips back, leading those arms extended forward, or taking them back towards heels if that feels better for your body. Relaxing the head and chest down. Taking just a moment to compare sides, noticing how one hip, one thigh compares to the other. Noticing any tension, any discomfort that you might be feeling on one side that you're not feeling on the other. And then taking those hands overhead, if they're not there already. Pressing into palms, lifting those hips up. Stepping the right leg forward, tucking those toes, lifting that knee. We're going to rotate that back foot so that it's parallel to the back of the mat, and then come up to our warrior two on this side. Tucking tailbone, engaging core, reaching those fingers out, drawing the shoulder blades in. Gaze over that front arm. If you're feeling steady, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, see if you can lower those hips down a little farther. We're going to hold for 10 breaths on this side. Breathing deeply here. Remember, you can pulse in and out at any time. And last breath. Extend that front leg. Gently tug of warring it forward and back, opening up the hips just a little bit more before we go into our triangle pose. As the hand reaches forward, once again, let it come down to fall on shin, ankle, or floor, keeping that back hip as elevated and in line with the rest of the body as we can. Breathing deeply. Fingertips raising up to the sky. Bottom hand pressing down into its point of contact. Gaze up if we're steady, down if we're not. Beautiful. Breathing deeply. Just a couple more breaths here. On that next exhale, slowly bending through that front knee, taking both hands to the inside of the foot as we let that back heel pivot up, lowering that knee down, coming into our lizard pose. Letting that knee extend out to the side, either bending through elbows if we want to go deeper, or coming down to forearms, listening to your body, what it's asking for. Slowly raising back up, bringing that knee in once again, one hand to each side of the foot. Bring that foot back, knees together, and pressing back into a child's pose. Arms can stay up overhead or reach back for the heels. Breathing deeply here. With each exhalation, see if you can relax the chest and shoulders, as well as the head and neck, a little closer to the mat, using a little less effort to hold them up. Taking a moment to notice how your body feels. Your left leg compared to your right leg, left hip and right hip. Left arm and shoulder to left, right, and shoulder. Noticing if you feel a little more in balance, a little more even. We're going to do a very gentle side stretch here. Hands reaching for the top of the mat. We're going to inhale, lift the chest slightly, and walk the hands off the side of the mat. One hand can remain on the mat or can be off for a slightly deeper stretch. As we exhale, we're going to reach our hips back, settle our chest down towards the ground. Noticing how that feels to the shoulder and the side body. If it's too intense, coming up and stepping it back onto the mat a little. If it's not deep enough, lifting up on the inhale, walking the hands one more step off the mat. Coming a little deeper if our body feels like it needs to go a little deeper. Coming out a little if our body says it needs to come out a little. We want to feel a nice deep stretch that we can relax into, not something that we have to hold and force. One more deep breath. On the next inhale, pressing into palms, walking your hands back to the center of the mat, and then over off the other side. Starting in close to the mat, lowering down, feeling that stretch through the side body. deciding if your body wants to come in or go out or stay where it is. Inhaling to lift the torso, adjusting the hands as needed. Exhaling to press the hips back and lower the chest down. Relaxing through the torso, the chest, the belly, the shoulders, the neck, the head. Everything relaxing down to the mat just a little bit more. Inhaling, pressing into those palms, walking them back to the center of the mat. We're going to come up through tabletop, centering the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees. As we inhale, we're going to relax the belly down, take the gaze up. As we exhale, we're going to draw the belly in, round the spine, take the gaze back towards the thighs. Inhaling, reaching the belly down, shoulders back, gaze up into cow pose. Exhaling, belly in, spine arches, gaze to thighs for cat pose. Inhaling to cow, belly down, gaze up. Exhaling to cat. Following with the rhythm of your own breath, going as slowly, as quickly, as deeply as feels good for you in your body. And then pushing your hips back and to the side so you can come up to a seat for 1 second. Extending those legs long. Going to inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, shoulders back and down. Gaze to fingertips. As you exhale, reach your heart forward. Keep those fingertips and that gaze lifted, going as far forward as you can before relaxing the arms down. Hands can come to feet, to shin, to thighs, wherever they want to reach. We're going to hold here for just a moment, just pointing and flexing the toes. Toes reach away, toes draw in. Keeping those toes spread wide, lifted up towards the ceiling. Take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, reach your heart forward and then relax it down, letting the shoulders curl and round forward. The head and shoulders grow a little heavier, relaxing down towards the leg. Hands can grasp the bottoms of the legs or the soles of the feet. Whatever feels best for you. Making this pose as active or as restful as feels good for your body. You can draw yourself in a little more deeply, or just relax here for a moment. Witnessing the tension, not fighting it, not forcing it. Just noticing. Seeing if with each exhalation you can relax into it just a little bit more. Slowly coming up to a seated position. And cross the legs or come into any leg position that feels best for your body, coming into a gentle twist. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up overhead. We're going to twist to look to the right. Relax the left hand down to the outside of the right hip or right thigh, Back hand comes close to the hip. Inhale to sit a little bit taller. Exhale, take your gaze back behind you. Looking as far over that back shoulder as you can. Keeping that spine as long and straight and tall as you can. Breathing deeply. Slowly releasing, relaxing, letting yourself untwist naturally. Inhaling those arms overhead once again, and as you exhale, twist to the left, letting that right hand come down to rest on the outside of the left thigh, that left hand to come close behind those hips. Inhaling to sit a little taller, exhaling to take your gaze back over that left shoulder. Keeping that spine as long and straight as you can, sitting tall. Breathing deeply and see if we can look back over that back shoulder just a little bit more. Slowly and naturally, releasing that twist, letting yourself come back to center. Gently turning to look over one shoulder and then the other, releasing any strain from holding that twist. And then lowering yourself down onto your back. If you find that lying on your back for an extended period of time is uncomfortable, feel free to adjust now or at any time. We're going to make our way into our final relaxation. So taking any movements, moving through each of the joints as needed, and becoming as comfortable as you possibly can lying on your mat. You might even lift the heart, draw those shoulder blades towards one another, and settle a little deeper, allowing your body to become a little flatter, a little more in contact with the mat. Let your focus turn to your breath. With each exhalation, allow yourself to relax and rest a little bit more. If thoughts or plans should come into your mind, allow your focus to return to your breath, even inhaling the parts, naming the inhale and the exhale. Slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. There's no rush. Taking as much time as you need, gently bringing movement and life back into your body. When you're ready, adding some circles through the wrists and the ankles. Gently bending through elbows and knees. Taking any movements that feel appropriate to you and your body. Maybe drawing knees to belly, gently rocking side to side. Doing anything that you need to do to feel ready. And when you feel that your body has reawoken, slowly making your way back up to a seated position. Letting your eyes remain closed or your gaze soft. We'll take one final breath together as we inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, palms together. Exhaling, hands to heart. Taking just a moment to feel gratitude for ourselves, for this technology that has let us be together this evening. For anything that is going well in your life, and any of the possibilities that you are hoping to see. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Namaste.